If you enjoy our show, spread the love wherever you listen by rating, reviewing, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff to help us get ourselves out there. And with that said, let's start the show. I'm O'Day. That's Vicky. I'm me. You're you. We are we.
Oh my God, that was so corny.
The You, Me,
Oh
We
goodness.
podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. Vicky, how are you?
I'm full. How are you?
I am good. Tired. Long day of work from home, and it's the new version of our show. You, Me, We, and one of Vicky's family members.
Well, you know what?
Or friends.
But it's accurate though.
What?
Because our guests are people that we know, people that, like, these are, I feel like that is what the point of this podcast was. I was just thinking about that right before we were recording.
Bringing the we on? So you're a we today.
Because I feel like the podcast, our goal of the podcast was just to have conversations that we have with each other, that we have with our family, that we have with our friends. And just putting it on a platform for people who don't have those conversations but might want to have those conversations. Right. You can just avoid the conversation and listen to us. Right.
True.
So it's real that we would have our family and friends on the show.
That makes sense.
Because these are the people we are actually having these conversations with. Duh.
So introduce our guest and what we will be talking about today.
So O'Day's hating because we back to my rotation of family and friends.
Come 2021, I'm bringing the whole family.
He is such a liar because he would never put that much effort. So, my special guest, it's my cousin. You can just introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Saranji. I really don't know what else to say besides that.
Do you not know about yourself?
I know, right?
I just feel like this is it like a work icebreaker where I have to be like polite?
No, you just say what you want.
My name is Saranji. I'm a Pisces. I like long walks
I
on the
am a
beach.
Pisces.
Oh, you
I
are?
just had that conversation today with a coworker. He's like, "Oh, so you're stubborn?" I said, "What?" He said, "Yes, Pisces are known to be stubborn." I said, "Okay, I guess I'm
You're
stubborn."
like, wow, we just exchanged names. You didn't need all that.
So what are we talking about today?
So we're talking today's episode, which is so right on the mark as we're wrapping up the year.
True that.
Right.
Because, when your life does not go according to plan.
And I'm sure this time, 2019, everybody was on this high. Like, yo, 2020?
Oh, that was me. I was on that.
We had the highest hopes for 2020. I don't know because it was like a nice symmetrical number. So we thought it was going to mean something big for everybody. Well, clearly it did. But
it did, though. You're right. It did.
It was something big for everyone.
Big for everyone across the board.
It just wasn't
not
the
as
big
planned.
That we wanted. Yeah. See, that's what happened. It's like we all celebrated the Roaring 20s, New Year's celebration. We opened the portal to 1920 is what we did. And now we're stuck in the advanced version of it. So anyway, our topic is when life doesn't go according to plan. And I feel that Soranji has the best platform to speak about that. I guess that topic.
Okay.
So how did you get here?
he's like, car.
Like what?
Yeah, so I guess how...
No, I mean, I would say I think we've all been...
I was going to say we have not been...
No. We've all been... Well...
She's like, hold on, let me take that back.
We've all been... At some point in our life, we've all been set on the next 5 years is going to go this way.
Right.
I'm going to have this job that I'm in now, whatever job that is. I'm going to be with this person.
I'm going to make this much money. I'm going to be doing these things.
4 to 5 years later, we're probably in a different state.
Right.
Going back to our last week's episode with Vic, we're probably with a whole different person. We're probably down in our luck, or we're probably doing even better than we thought we would have.
Right. But we're not talking about that kind of my life didn't turn out the way I planned because it turned out better. Yeah. That was Vic's episode for real, because she's like, it was the best thing I ever did.
A prime example, for those who listen to our show, when those who know us, I've been engaged before. So at one point, shut up. At one point in my life, I definitely thought, okay, here's what the next couple of years are going to, but here's what the rest of my life will be like.
Yeah, the next
Right.
couple years. Wow, really?
See, but you guys are talking,
Aim
and the
low.
only thing that's going through my head is that I think we're conditioned to always plan ahead, right? Like when you're in grammar school, what are you going to be when you grow up, right? When
Yeah,
you go
yeah,
to a job
yeah.
interview, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in?
God,
We're
yes.
conditioned to have a plan.
Yeah, but it's not even so much having a plan, because I feel like everyone should plan for something, because then what are you going towards?
Right.
But it's when that plan looks like it's going in that direction, like
Right.
like you're like, no, I have this on lock. Like Ode was saying, like, I'm engaged. I know I'm gonna be with this person.
That's
so
what happens.
Here's what's
Yeah.
here how it's gonna look for the next 2 years. And let's just go 2 years. In the next 2 years, we'll be married. We'll start a family. We're gonna do this, and you plan all these things, and then like
Life
2
happens.
months later, is like, oh nah,
What's the
it
saying?
didn't go that way.
Isn't there a saying, I think it's man plans, God laughs? Something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, it's something like that, but
yeah.
I can't correct you because I'm not sure. But you're
I feel like
wrong.
I've never seen the inside of a church.
No, yeah. So I feel like you have the best reference to the direction that we're talking about this topic.
Okay.
So you want to like just briefly give people a synopsis of
synopsis
why you're
of
like,
why.
okay, I'm gonna tell you why I'm really here.
Well, I mean, I hope we're on the same page, right? I think that, like, I mean, you're talking to someone whose parents were ridiculously strict, like ridiculously strict. Like, you go to a family party, and my brother and I were sitting on a corner, hands folded, all night,
Doing the rosary, like at a party.
and we're all like, no, come to the room. This
I
is,
would
like,
be
all the kids-
afraid. Yeah,
We're
and
like doing WWF.
I'd be like, I
moves
have
in
to
there.
ask my parents if it's okay to go in there, type thing.
Yeah.
To then, like,
Shout out to Saranji's parents. We wouldn't have this house if it wasn't for
For
them.
real. Yeah.
Literally.
then moving on to, like, you know, all throughout high school, you have to get straight A's. You get too many B's on your report card, and my dad used to make me go to sleep at 6 p.m. Like, I'm not kidding. I graduated at the top of my class, like, go on to college. No, 6 p.m.
No,
The
I
sun's
believe it.
still out.
No, exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Even if you close the blinds.
Exactly.
Because he took it as like,
Exactly.
she's not focused in school, and like, what else are you doing if not focusing in school?
6 p.m. I will never
Then that means you're
forget
playing
that.
around. So since you got time to play around all day, you can come home and go straight to bed.
No, seriously.
So you were just laying in bed for
If I ate his
hours.
Hershey Kisses from the fridge, I would get in trouble. Like,
I feel that though. Carlota's just my Hershey Kisses. He's
No.
grounded.
Go to bed at 4 p.m.
no, my dad played no games. So,
You ain't gotta convince me.
anyways, my point is, right, like, I wasn't born here. I was born in
Yeah.
Dominican Republic. So coming here at 5, my parents were like, we're going to make the best out of this opportunity. Like, you have been granted this opportunity. You have to succeed. And succeed to them was straight A's, graduate from college. And so, like, my whole life, that was it, right? Like, that was the plan. I went to school, got the best grades I could get. I went to college. I graduated. I came back home. I was in a very serious relationship that turned into a marriage, right? But even that was like, well, I'm not just getting married. I'm getting married through church. I'm getting married through the Catholic Church.
You're doing
right?
it the right way.
The right way, right? And before I even did that, it was like I went from my parents' house to a house that we bought together, my
Yeah.
ex and I. It was never even like I rented an apartment. Like, it was for sure, right? We were for sure. It's on paper, written
You're
on
like,
paper, mortgage.
It's on a mortgage.
It's on
It's
a mortgage.
recorded.
We
right?
owe a balance together.
Right. So
No
to me,
going
it
back.
was like, what's more commitment than mortgage? Like,
Yo, for real.
that's the full obligation, the full commitment there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I did that, got a house, got married, and it was just steps to all this, right? Like, I need a ring before we do this, and I need the marriage before we have kids, and then I need another house before we have, like, it
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
step. And then God said, I need to teach you a lesson,
You
Saranji. Exactly. Exactly.
God was like, look at you all
God
happy.
was like,
He's like, guys,
Saranji,
look, she's planning.
Look,
she keeps planning and planning the rest of her life, and we need to teach her.
Look, she had brunch. She mad comfortable. Look.
Right?
Aw. Who going to brunch? Who's comfortable with life?
And that's the thing, right? You said it perfectly. I was comfortable in the sense where like, okay, I'm doing things the right way. I didn't have my first alcoholic beverage till I was in college, like, and then like I still was. Yes, when I'm telling you, I thought I was doing everything the right way. I mean everything the right way. Like,
Real quick,
I didn't drink nothing.
by saying that, did part of you feel like life owes me?
Yeah, like
life
I
owes me
did
the
everything
thing-
by the
yeah.
book. Why
I did.
would?
You know what? You're absolutely right. Because I'm like, I'm a good like child to both my parents. I never gave them headaches. I didn't.
You're
I
like,
didn't
I
do
go to
anything crazy.
church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was
I'm
like, things are gonna
obedient.
work out for me because I'm doing it the right way. And honestly, looking back at it, being very honest, maybe I was even judgy of people that didn't do things the right way. Like, hold on, what are you doing? Like, this is how we should be doing.
You're going to
Yeah.
bed after
Like,
sex?
right. Like, I'm like, it's hard for me to say you're all good people when you're all doing bad
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
or out of order.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought I was doing all the right things. And then not even, well, yeah, maybe like a year into my marriage, it all went to crap. And so that was the lesson I needed to learn, right? Like the first initial thought of mine was, what? This is impossible. I got married through church. There's no way God would let me go like through all this. I got married through church. This has to work. Like, I've done
Wow, I
all
didn't
the
even
right
consider
things.
That thought.
This has to work. That was why I had such a hard time letting go of what I should have let go maybe a little sooner, because I was like, but no, I was always taught that if God blesses a union, it's not gonna go away. Like, it's not gonna dissolve. There has to be a solution. I did this the right way. God got me. How do I fix it? So I think maybe that's why I'm here.
That kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of that clip we posted about redemptive love.
Yeah.
There's those who feel like no matter what happens in their relationship, because of their
Right.
views on religion and redemptive love, no, this
You
has
did
to
make
work.
that point.
This
You did
will
make
You did,
work.
yeah. I
Right.
saw that.
Because of what I believe in. No, we have a mortgage and we did church and we go to church together and I am a good Christian or I just did everything right. So the
Right.
universe, God, whoever you believe in should reward me with
Right.
positivity, with everything working out, few bumps here and there, but at the end everything will work out because I was a good person.
Exactly.
And karma will continue to reward me.
Exactly. Like, I've done nothing wrong to receive wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't deserve this. And I could see why some people, when that does happen, it will either make them turn from their beliefs or turn from their family or turn from being a good person.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're like, yo, clearly being a good person gets you nowhere. I'm not saying that that's true, but I could see why somebody would say, why am I being good for anymore?
Yeah.
And I've heard that many times. I think I was blessed in a sense where, like, I had such a great support system. And at the same time, and I've got all the time, like, why are you so nice? And why are you being so cordial in this divorce? Like, why are you not, like, why aren't you asking for what's yours and stuff like that? And I'm just like, you want to know what? Like, I don't get to waste more time, or that person doesn't get to keep a hold on me any longer or turn me to bitter, right? Because then I'm not learning, number one, the lesson maybe I really am supposed to be learning. And two, it's like, they're still winning then, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm still, like, wasting energy on them, and they still, like, they don't get to turn me into someone else. And if I
Wow, I didn't
change,
even think of
if
that.
I change, it's going to be to make myself better, right? Because,
Yeah.
again, I'm trying to learn every lesson that this is, like, the circumstances I'm going through, what can I learn from it? Like, number one, I kept hearing podcasts, and it's like, stop looking at yourself as the victim. Because I was doing that a lot, right? And that's a lot of wasted energy. Like, why me? I did nothing wrong. It's not going to change it. It happened, though, right? So, number one, I need to stop doing that. And two, again, what are the lessons here? What can I learn? And how do I use this to make me better, stronger? Like, not make that same mistake again, not fall for the same things again, right? And I think that's what helped me, because if I had stayed in that victim stage, I wouldn't be where I am right now.
Yeah, and that's pretty much like where I wanted to get to. Like, when life does not go as planned, right?
Right.
Even with the foundation of, like, you're like, no, we got this on lock. Like, I'm an obedient child. I'm a devout Catholic. We signed the mortgage, or I got married
Right.
in front of the Lord.
Right.
How do you handle through that? Like, I can imagine it feeling like the grieving of loss, of a loved
Oh,
one.
That's
it is?
exactly what my therapist said.
Right? Like you go through the stages, through the same stages.
Yes, you
Yeah.
are grieving the loss
And
of
then
someone.
how do
They're
you
not their
do
death,
that?
but of them, the idea
The
of them,
idea
what they
of-
represented.
yeah.
So you're still very much, you have to go through those stages.
And I feel like you are losing some of you because you had a vision of where you were going to be. So you are losing some of, because not only that, but you dedicated some of you to that person, to that situation that you were
Right.
in. So now you're giving the loss of that, not just them, but just that everything you built.
For sure.
You know?
There's a
But-
million
but
things
you
I
know
was grieving and mourning. Yeah.
What was the most commendable, I would say, is how well you held it together on at least like on
In
the
the public.
outside.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
like,
in
at
the
least on
public
public.
eye.
Yeah, I was like,
In the
oh,
public eye, how well you held it together, because I feel like for everything that you were going through, I know me, I would literally turn into a blob of crap. Like whoever would talk to me wouldn't even know what the hell I'm even saying, because I wouldn't be able to form words together. Like, how were you able to just like not be that and literally be like, okay, that part may be falling apart, but all these other parts of me, they're still gonna be in line exactly how I had them.
I think that maybe it's just like, I don't know, maybe this is where the discipline my parents taught me came in, where it's like, I'm gonna be resilient no matter what. Like I have to make this work. Like opportunities were given to me, I have to make the best out of these opportunities. And again, like just changing perspective from I'm a victim to no, my faith in God isn't gone, right? So okay, maybe I'm losing out on this whole holy matrimony, marriage, whatever, but he's still teaching me something through this. What is there for me to learn, right? And just changing the view on that, it's like, okay, you know how you say I lost myself? I did. Because I compromised so much of myself in that relationship. I had lost a lot of my individuality. Like, to me, happiness wasn't coming from within. It was coming from that person validating my existence in a sense. Like, you know? And so, like, there was no way. And then it's just having, like, and support from people. There's no way I would have done this by myself. There's no way. And I did the healing and I made the steps, but just to have the support was beyond helpful. And again, I never lost my faith. Prayer was still very important to me. Therapy was still therapy to me was life-changing. I had never done therapy before.
Oh, we know.
I had never done therapy
We know
before.
the power of therapy.
I never
Anyone
done it
with a
before.
problem, I'm like, yo, go to a therapist, bro. It's okay.
Absolutely. That was
Go
life-changing.
to a therapist.
Even at first, when it was really, really hard, it was just giving myself little milestones, right? So if I got out of therapy on Monday and she set my next appointment for next Tuesday, that's all I had to do. I wasn't thinking ahead. I was thinking, I have till next Tuesday. Then I was like, okay, I have till next. I had to do little baby steps because if I thought of the long picture, I would have broken down. There's no way. Like, oh my God, I'm starting my life over at 30 years old. How am I going to do that? Yeah, but in my head, because of my timeline.
Yeah, because of your timeline,
I
you're
was
like,
supposed to have
I'm
kids
expired.
by 30. Like, I'm like, not only do I not have kids, I'm going through a divorce. I no longer own a home because I didn't want to keep that house anymore. I wanted to. So now I have to start over. I'm back at my parents' house. I was at a job I wasn't happy at. Like, it was all aspects of my life where I was like, oh my God, what do I do now? And but it was baby steps. Like, I'm like, okay, 1 week, and then I see my therapist next week, and then it's just little, like, and then my friends were very helpful with, like, okay, they would literally, like, I found out after they had a chat without me where they would check in and be like, how's Saranji doing? Who's talked to her? Who's gonna go hang out with her this weekend? I've been very blessed to
There was in the
have
chat like,
amazing
she crying
friends.
again, y'all.
Yeah.
Somebody
Who got her?
who on shift?
Who
on
got
shift?
taught?
No, but shout out to the friend, like the support that you
No,
mentioned.
for
'Cause
sure.
I know when I went through my like life changing whatever loss whatever, having to pivot whatever, I appreciated those friends, and I think I try to have this approach when friends go through things. I appreciated those friends that let me break down. Like,
yes.
they didn't tell me, yo, just be strong. No, they would say, go ahead,
Thank
yo,
you.
bawl
Yes.
and ugly
Yes.
cry, do what you got to do
Yes.
right now. Sulk around for a couple of days or hours. But when you're done, I'm here to help you
Right.
move forward. But go ahead and let
Yes.
this thing destroy you for a day or two
Right.
or a week. Let it take over. Because trying to fight it early on and just be strong,
No.
eventually at the wrong time, it's gonna just hit you, and you'll be in the middle of work, doing a presentation, being like, and you can see the margin of the.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you just got triggered off of like, yes, absolutely.
You're like, and this is where we lost the.
Yeah, I hate when people say don't cry. Why not? That's a very healthy way to release emotion.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very healthy. Venting, I don't need you to tell me anything. I just need you to hear me.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can tell me because there isn't. But just listen to me. Don't tell me not to cry. Don't tell me not to be depressed. Like, yes, I'm going to be depressed. I'm going to lose weight because I'm not eating.
Yeah. I'm
Let
looking
me not
forward to
eat.
it. I'm trying
Oh,
to-
yes.
Yeah.
Let me not eat.
Let me not eat. Like,
Yeah.
let me be.
Definitely be careful how you're approaching your friend who's hurting or
Right.
whatever. Don't automatically be with the. You gonna bounce back? No. They need to
For sure.
First of all, they need some honesty. They need to know that it's gonna be tough for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be crazy. You know what? You're probably gonna see me and my happy relationship and lose it. That happened to me. I remember going to visit my brother just to visit and say what's up. And on my way out, I was leaving, and him and his wife were just standing in the door, just being all lovey-dovey, like, "Hey, glad you came by." I'm watching them, like, just feeling the one tear come down,
Right.
seeing this happy couple as I go through a big breakup or whatever. But there is that time period does come, where all of a sudden, like, the clouds part,
Yeah.
and you can't really pinpoint what it was. All of a
You're
sudden,
absolutely right.
the clouds just part. This weight is lifted off of your shoulders. Your eyes all of a sudden are open. The blinders are off. All of a sudden, you start realizing just how awesome everything is. You got these brand new people in your life. You got some chick that's texting you while she's walking home from work at 4 or 5 in the morning from wherever she's working at the time. You don't even remember any of this.
I'm like, who the fuck
Oh, I
is
already
he
knew.
talking to?
Come on.
about?
I knew he was talking about you.
But yeah, but
I'm like,
but out of nowhere, it just happens.
It does. You're right.
Why is it that we don't like acknowledge it as it's happening? Is it that we can't?
was that when I was working at the can factory?
Yes.
I mean, I don't have a moment I
Wait,
can pinpoint.
Before that, how long did it take you to get to that point? Because sometimes I feel like people want to time their healing process, right?
See,
Like they're like, no, I shouldn't. Like, why is it still like 7 months and I'm just still like mad crying over this person? You're like, well, because I mean, you were with them for like 12 years. Yeah, I think 7 months is okay for you to
See,
still be crying.
I think maybe what made it, I don't know if the word's easier, but I guess what I'm trying to say is for me, I think it happened a little sooner because in my head, I realized I wasn't mourning my ex, the person. Because when I finally broke it down and looked back at it, I was like, there's a lot of qualities there that I should have picked up on. He's not compatible with me. We're not compatible.
Yeah.
And so when I realized that, the healing that, like, I was still upset after that, but I was no longer mourning the loss of him, just what he was supposed to represent, my husband for the rest of my life.
And then you realize, like,
And-
damn, did I like dream up most of that? Like,
Exactly. I look back and I was like, I feel like a hypocrite talking about it because I don't mean to, I'm not one to like shit on him. Like you
Right,
never,
right.
But I look back at it and I was like, but there was a million reasons why this wasn't going to work out.
yeah.
But I was compromising so much.
Mhm.
And so when I finally realized that, it was like, okay, I still have to heal. I'm still sad. I'm still upset. To this day, there's still things I have to work through, right?
Right.
But I don't need, this is not a person I can be with, period.
Yeah.
So that's what helped me, if that answers your question. Like that, once I came to that realization, that's what clicked for me. It wasn't that the pain and everything was gone, because that doesn't disappear, but it made me carrying that pain a little easier.
I think it's not that moment when the clouds open up.
Right.
It's not that you all of a sudden don't hurt anymore.
Right.
It's that you realize that's not where I was supposed to be.
Exactly.
Like you said, you might still hurt, you might still question, you might still wonder, you might still cry, but there is some comfort in knowing that, you know what, I'm better off at least.
Exactly.
That's not where I was supposed to be. That job, that person, that situation.
Exactly.
Even though I loved it and I can't believe it's over and I can't believe I'm on to something different, that situation wasn't where I was supposed to be. And
Right.
eventually the hurt will go, the pain will go away, and
Right.
I'll be able to fully embrace whatever this new situation I'm in now.
Exactly.
But like Vicky, like you said, it could be 7 months, it could be 7 years, it could overlap while you're embracing your new situation, whatever that is. But there's no time limit. I think once we embrace that, it gets easier,
Exactly.
and we acknowledge that there's no time limit. 'Cause I think the more you don't embrace that, it could take whatever time, that's gonna prolong it.
Right. It even works backwards, right? Because in my head, at one point when I was, feeling better, I was like, wait a second, it's too soon for me to be.
Oh, so you started to
Feeling
feel like a guilt. You're like,
Yeah.
whoa, I'm supposed to be like
Right.
mourning the loss
I was
of
like,
my
wait.
life.
Oh, am I
Right.
happy?
And I'm over here like high-fiving people 4 months later like, yo, what up?
Right. Like I had the best summer last year, and I'm like,
You felt
wait
guilty?
a second. I felt a little guilty because I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, don't get me wrong. It was a roller coaster. I'll have my days where, like,
Yeah.
I'm not getting out of bed. Like, there's no way you're pulling me out of bed today. Like, friends would literally come to my house and try to drag me out of bed.
Like, have
So
you
don't get me-
showered? You're like,
Exactly.
maybe for the week.
For sure. But for the most part, I was like, I thought I felt like, wow, I'm feeling like, compared to how I was feeling in the beginning, where I felt like my world was coming to an end and there was just no purpose to live kind of thing. Like, it was that drastic in my head. Like, I know it sounds pathetic, but it was bad. It was very bad. And then it got to the point where I was like, oh, I'm hurting, but I'm smiling again. I'm laughing again. I'm enjoying a meal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I felt guilty. Like, I was like, but I should be like sad for a longer period of time.
Did you feel like you were forcing it? At any time did you
Forcing what,
ask?
like the
Forcing-
happiness?
Yeah, like do you feel like it wasn't genuine? It was just you trying to put yourself in this state of happiness and not genuinely
No,
being
because
happy.
I feel like I can picture moments where I'm surrounded by people, but my thoughts are elsewhere, where I'm not happy. But then there's times where like I wasn't thinking about anything. I was genuinely like laughing, and
Yeah.
it was just a mixture of both, Like, so my head was like, and then I would have the bad days, right? So when I'd have a bad day, I'm like, well, I'm clearly not over it. So why am I having a great day the day before?
Right.
Like, I felt bipolar at one point, and I'm like, what's wrong? So that's what I mean. I was like confused. I'm like, am I enjoying myself too much? Should I sit here and like process this a little more? Am I like, I was afraid that I was distracting myself too much and I wasn't dealing with the issue, right?
Yes.
I was like, but no, it doesn't work like that. You don't need to spend the entire day on that.
Are
I
you
don't know
dying?
what is going on. I'm sorry. I have no idea what is happening. I think I honestly think I just go from drinking a lot of water and then I'll go a long time without drinking any water. And my body's like, girl, I will choke you if you don't like
If you don't give me some
if you don't
water.
take down a gallon of water tomorrow. I will choke you.
I
I
need to
swear.
drink water.
I think the best way to describe that situation is by saying it's a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster.
When Vicky and I had our first like big breakup, being like we had moved in together, we were living in Edison, we had a place that we felt like, yo, this is our place. We had a dog together,
Yeah.
we had bills together, and then we broke up and we separated. Like Vicky moved out. I remember I had a group of friends that were like, hey, let's go out. And I was going out. I was having those moments where I'm literally in the club, like, hey, and then it was like I was experiencing both emotions all at once. So there was part of me that was like, on the outside, I was like, hey, but there was like this, like part of me was like outside my body, like, bro, you sad.
Right.
What you doing? Like just watching me have fun, like, who you lying to? And then I would literally like hang out all night, go home. As soon as I get in the house, it's just like, oh. I'm like, damn, like just that quick.
Right, yeah.
That
and it
roller
happens
coaster.
just like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
And I would say to myself, I would ask myself, like, was I just distracting myself, like you said? And it's like, you felt weird. It's like, so am I just living this facade?
Exactly.
When I should have just been like, my boys want to go out. Let me go hang out with them, and let me just embrace it. It's weird.
Going from someone who plans their life, right, with so much certainty, I feel like people also overlook that they most likely will try to plan their healing
Yeah.
and not realizing that, like, Yeah, I don't work that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you about to really get to know yourself.
Right. Right.
A part of you that you clearly don't know because you were trying to plan it.
Exactly. And then I'm asking, right? Like I'm asking people who were in similar situations, like, yo, when you were getting a divorce or whoever, right? How long did it take for them? And like I'm going by their timeline too, because I'm like, but they said it takes years and years.
And then some people, their divorce is like wild, right? So like they'll be divorced, but they're like not living in the reality of their situation, or they're going through a divorce and not really living the reality of their, like you're doing like a lot of self-reflection.
Oh yeah.
And then there's people getting divorced that they're like no, the problem's you.
Right.
You know,
and
like
not acknowledging.
it has right. And not even trying to fix anything of themselves.
Right.
Because like with the divorce, like when they sign, they're like signing off all damages to the other person. Right.
But then it's like, then I feel like the repercussions are like the consequences of that divorce continue on because you're not making the changes that you should make. You're not doing the self-reflecting. Like when I tell you, I think of everything. If I get sad, I'm like, okay, what triggered me? What about my past caused this? I've gotten to the point where I'm like, what about my upbringing, my childhood, my relationship with my father led me to even be in a relationship with my ex? I think of everything now because I refuse to ever put myself in that same situation again.
Yeah.
And I think about it, I was like, oh, I thought I needed just like a provider to get me this. Or like, now I'm like, no, I provide for myself. So I don't need that. I needed support, like emotional support. I needed other things, right? So I now have turned this, I'm telling you, I'm trying to learn every lesson I can. And I'm like, okay, I did this wrong. I was doing that. I analyze everything. Maybe I do it too much. Maybe I need to not analyze as much because I really am just like, I just refuse to put myself in those shoes again.
Yeah.
I'm not making that same mistake again. I'm not saying I'm not making a mistake. I'm saying I'm not making that one.
Because I'm gonna make a bunch of other ones.
She's like, let me tell you, never will I ever walk into a situation with a person that I'm not truly compatible with.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I got a bunch of other situations.
She's like, I will walk through those doors because I have not walked through them yet.
I got more
But
lessons
this
to
one,
learn.
I bolted that one shut. It's done. She's like, I sealed it
For sure.
with like nail glue. It ain't happening.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And as we say that, God is like, y'all, come see this, come see this, come see
Right?
this. She's saying she ain't gonna make the same mistake twice.
Play.
Yo, these humans be bugging.
He's like, I thought I made them so much smarter.
Right,
But look at them.
God is like, here, same mistake. Throw it at her again. Don't worry, she gonna catch
She
it.
gonna
They
But
all-
I think
they always do.
that's always so important too. Just like taking that moment of healing
Right.
to be centered about you and not about the other person.
Right.
So I feel like most people don't even do that.
What is and this is for all of us, what is I feel like everyone has that thing that they feel they need to do to fully like move on from something or heal from something. And I'm sure the grieving process has like certain things that people probably use, like doesn't the grieving process, or am I mixing grieving process up with like sobriety, where you have to like confront the people or whatever?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So do you have a thing that, you know what, this is my thing that I do when I'm fully over?
You know?
I embrace the person and I have a conversation, or what's your thing if you have
Let me
one?
tell you what. This is semi-answering your question.
I mean, you can fully answer it, but go ahead.
No, because I'm gonna tell you why. Because I don't have a thing, right? Because what I did was so counterproductive that shouldn't even be considered a thing. Like, I don't want to claim that was my thing. I'm gonna claim it as, let me tell you about this toxic ass shit I used to do.
I'm dying.
And the reason why I'm gonna say it is because
Go ahead.
Spit it out
people
already.
stay wanting to do this bullshit.
I think I'm about to get triggered, but go ahead.
No.
I promise you.
I promise you that you're not.
I think I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
What?
No, I don't know. Go ahead.
Say it. if
Okay, you
know
guys are
me.
killing me. The suspense is killing me.
No, go
When
ahead.
people are like, we need to have a conversation because I need closure.
Ah.
Did you think I was gonna say that? You're such a liar.
No,
Anyways,
I'm dead. I can tell you the exact closure. No, go ahead. I'm going to my woosah. Our therapist is probably watching. You know what? I'm being
The
mindful.
therapist was like, "Oh, we just added like 6 more months.
I'm being
Damn,
mindful.
She walked us back."
Go ahead, Vicky.
No. The reason I wanted to bring light to that is because I always thought I needed closure. Like I need to have a conversation so that I can close this chapter because I need questions answered. Like, bitch, you don't need questions answered. You got all the answers that you have. Those are the answers. You just want them to dance around the bullshit that they already gave you. Like this idea of like, oh, now that we're done, this person's going to be 100% honest with me. It's that idea of like closure. Like, no, now they're going to bring everything to the table and we're going to be able to close this book.
Absolutely not.
Like, no, why? Like, why did I think that was a thing? Like,
I think it's quite the opposite. Like, if you feel you need to have that conversation for closure, that means there's still doubt there because you still want to give them the opportunity to convince you otherwise.
No, but that's exactly what that is. That's what I'm saying. That shit is toxic as hell. Like, you don't need closure. Just take a step back and look at what you've been given, and that's your answer. Like there is no closure. There are no extra conversations. There's none of that. Just take what you got, and that's the answer.
Right. Like I don't need to find reasons to justify what you did or why it happened.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's a lot of it. Like, why did you do this?
Right.
Like I used to do that toxic. So I'm like, I need to know the answer for what?
Right.
For what?
You're gonna open a door that was closed to get closure, and the person's like, wasn't that door closed? Like,
yeah, they're like,
closed.
oh, I could open it, bam, and kick it right back open.
But
and
you want
you're
closure
like,
on something that was closed, like it's done.
Yeah,
Why are you...
right.
Yeah. So I mean, and I say that because I feel like that will always be a thing for people, because if you don't hang around like people that are like, no, bro, that's bullshit. Like, don't do that. You're never gonna, because I didn't have that. Like
That guidance or
I didn't have that guidance where somebody would be like, stop, you look stupid as hell because you're stupid. That's not true. Like, you're not gonna get closure out of this. Like, just let it go. That's the closure, letting it go, walking away. But yeah, that was my toxic, I need this to move on. Like, no, bitch, you need to just get your life together because you're a mess right now. That was me.
I think for me,
I'm about to get triggered. Hold on.
No, you're not.
you better get your earphones off, start woosah.
Take my earrings off. Like.
I definitely take the approach of, I know I'm good when I could, this don't sound bad, in a comfortable way.
OMG, I know what you're going to say. Go.
What?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say in a comfortable way, I'm like, you're just no longer like you're dead to me. Not, I don't mean it in like, oh, you're dead to me. I can't stand you. I'm so angry. No, you literally, like, I could literally care less. When I feel like I got to that point, I'm like, oh, I'm good, because I literally could care less about this person. They're dead to me. If they approach me at an event and they walk by me, I'm like, well, okay. And there's no anger. I'm not doing it to be mean. I'm not doing it to be petty. I literally just don't care for you anymore in that way.
I think I second that.
Yeah, and I think that's where I try to get to. Or that's where I look forward to getting to that point, because then I know I can now fully give myself to somebody else. Because I'm not holding on to any concern, empathy, feelings toward this person in any way possible. Because I could honestly give two shits about them, and I don't mean that in a bad way. So I think that's usually my thing. When I feel like I got to that point, and I know to help myself get there, I do like purge and get rid of everything. Because I feel like
I've heard of this.
Yeah, I purge.
I agree with that. I think that with me, it's just like, oh, I didn't even think about that person yesterday. Oh, I'm not thinking about what they're doing. And at the same time, it's not even just I don't care. I don't wish you any harm.
Yeah, and that's what I mean when I say I don't give a damn.
I genuinely don't. There's not hate, and like, number one, there's not hate because it wasn't all terrible the entire time. Mm-hmm. So I have to look back and be like, there's still things I was happy at that moment. I thought I was like, at that moment, that's what I wanted. So there's nothing for me to regret because that's what I wanted at that moment. If it didn't have that, then I wouldn't be happy. Like, that made me happy then, right? It doesn't make me happy anymore. So I don't want to go back in time, but I can't look back at it and say I regret it so much. No.
I can. What?
And then there's no hate. Like, I'm just like, yo, I wish you good health. And for all your, like, because I just don't care, because I'm not wasting my energy, my prayers and my energy, everything. It's just for me moving forward. Like, I'm just, once I realize, I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that person. Oh, I don't really care what they're doing. You know what? This is embarrassing, but I'll admit, I'm not looking your social media to check. I don't care.
You're not looking at social media anymore
Okay, at all. Like, I'm not going to check to find out what's going on, which, like, I don't care.
Let me ask you a question, and this is for all of us, and we can end on this. And I ask this because Vicky knows I struggled with this. You brought up a good point of when things don't work out, but you were in a situation where you had great moments,
Right.
You were happy. I did struggle with being able to still appreciate those moments.
Okay.
I pretty much what's the word? I felt like
They're
all the bad. Yes, they were all tainted. That's what they were all tainted. All the bad cancels out every good memory I had. Every good moment we had means nothing now because there was other things going on. I chalked it up to they weren't being genuine. How do you still appreciate those moments, even if they were like far what was it? Far and in between?
I think that for me, it was, I need to separate the experience from just doing something with him, right? So, for example, thanks to him, I think I appreciated going back to my home country, Dominican Republic, more often, because prior to that, it was just visiting family, very poor, staying in, like, I didn't experience Dominican Republic, and this person taught me that, right? But I'm not associating like him in that. It's just, the idea of like, now I can appreciate Dominican Republic more. Or, hey, I owned a home. Now I can do it on my own. This is how you do it. So I'm appreciating what was taught to me, or how I can take that and go to Dominican Republic on my own and have such a good time. Or just like, I don't know, the trips to anywhere. It's just like, now I'm going to make it bigger and better, right? But it's that, not so much, like, I don't think about the conversation I had at dinner with my ex and how that made it great. It was like, that was an amazing restaurant. I want to go back there again. I'm not thinking about the entire like A to Z with him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I'm just trying to do a bigger, better version of myself, and even being in a relationship now, like, I'm just like,
ow.
I know, right? I was like, and you see, life doesn't go as planned because it's always something better.
Absolutely.
God was like, if you would just let me finish.
Yeah, he's like,
that's exactly what God said to me.
I was just being creative, just mixing stuff up. You got to try different flavors.
He's like, I was trying to give you a different story, but I guess you just might be like everybody else.
I was like, I knew what I was doing. I was just messing with you.
Right? Come on. So now when I vacation, it's a million times more fun because for XYZ reason, but I'm not. Does that make sense? Like, I'm just not. I'm trying not to look back at it and like, again, like just nothing, tiny details of that experience, but more so what I got out of it. Does that make sense? Like, more so, I like this food, I like this restaurant, I want to take this trip, but not like the time I went there.
But are there moments of your happiness with him that you can't appreciate the same because of how it ended?
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. I think it'd be a lie to say otherwise, because you want to know why? The biggest thing is because there was so many lies that you, in your head, you don't know anymore what was true and what wasn't. At what point I was so happy in that moment that I'm thinking about, but who knows what was going, like, he could have been thinking about somebody else while he was hanging out. Like, it's just like, yes, it's tainted. Absolutely. I think it's ignorant to say otherwise, because then you're not, like, you're lying to yourself. It's a lie. So when I say I still appreciate certain things, it's just, again, what I can build off on. It's not so much like that. I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Trust me, it does.
Okay, cool. Because I'm like, I feel like I'm repeating myself. But
No, it does.
So I don't know if that helps you, but I think that's how I try to look at it, right? Like, okay, well, I was taught this, so now I'm gonna take, because I don't want my years to go to waste. I refuse to say 7 years went to waste. I refuse to say that. I refuse. And because my life is so much better as a consequence now, I know it sounds corny, but I promise you, I don't regret anything because it's led me to who I am right now. And I couldn't be happier. I genuinely couldn't be happy. I have days, like we all do, but who I am today wouldn't have happened if I had not gone through that exact same experience. It wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't be in the relationship I'm in now because I'd be picking the wrong thing still. Or I'd still be compromising. And I'm not compromising anymore, right? At least not my core values and what's important to me, right? Because I do understand that some relationships are compromised. But besides that, I have a new job too. Like, it's not just relationship. It's just
you just
Yeah.
winning,
Yeah,
winning.
'cause
so
I'm like, her
much.
whole life just glowed
My
up.
entire
after.
life has changed, right? Like my home situation, having my own place, my job situation, my relationship. It's not just that, which is why I have zero regrets. Even though my experiences are a little tainted, right? You look back at it and it feels like no, but if I hadn't gone through exactly that, then I wouldn't have been so upset that now I'm not. Like, everything led to this. It led to this, and there's zero regrets because this is perfect for me right now.
Oh, I love that.
I think that's what does it when we realize that there's a lesson in all of it,
Exactly.
and where you end up, it may seem like you are in a terrible place, but if you just give it time, you realize, I've grown, I've learned, I've matured, I've benefited. I'm a better person for everything that I just went through, even if it looks like you just went through hell in every sense of the word.
Right.
I have one more question. We
Right.
can actually end on that. For anyone that that may feel like what if there are people, what would be your advice to people that they feel like they're not someone when they're compatible with, like they're already that feeling, because you noticed it because of everything that happened,
Right.
but what would be your advice knowing what you realized after?
Okay.
What if there were people that were in a relationship feeling that way? What would be your advice to them? Like,
I need to make sure I'm understanding this question. What do you feeling what
like
exactly?
feeling like they're feeling like they're not compatible with the person they're with,
Right.
but they've already invested.
We got a mortgage.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
we got the mortgage, we got the marriage, we got the house,
we
got
we
the
got
kids.
the kids, we got the everything, we got this, we got that. But they are in the relationship feeling like, yo, but this person's not compatible.
Something
Right.
just don't feel right.
Yeah,
Right.
like they're feeling it all in the moment. You felt it afterwards
After.
because you realized it later
Right.
because of what happened.
I think that, like, well, you're making jokes about, like, God saying, oh, you didn't learn this, you're gonna learn, right? I think that in this instance it's the same thing. Like, if you know it already, it's like deep down you know it, right? But you don't want to act on it because for whatever reason it's like you're almost plateauing your happiness. Like, if you don't leave that relationship knowing that, this is it for your rest of your life.
Wow, I didn't see it that way. Like, that's it.
It's not that you're gonna be miserable or anything like
No.
that, but this is it.
Peaked.
You peaked, absolutely. And now I'm like, holy crap, there was so much more happiness out there. Internal happiness, one, right? Like, happy within myself. Then, like, wow, we're so compatible. Like, something as simple as I love to cook. And my boyfriend loves to cook with. You know how happy that makes me that I couldn't, like, we literally share the kitchen, go grocery. Like, something as minimal as that makes me so happy. But I didn't know that, right? Because I had set this plateau. Now I'm just like, oh, no, there's more. And there's more. And then once you start knowing that there's more, you don't go back. So my thing is, like, yeah, you're happy, but there is more out there. And if you're okay with sacrifice, like compromising on just level, I don't know, 10, there's level 100 out there. Like, that's on you then. If that's what you want for the rest of your life, then okay. But for me, knowing that there's better, I'm just like, there's no way I'm going back.
Wow.
Let's
That's
play some
great.
cards.
Yes. Here you go. Pick one of these
I'm
cards.
assuming you've
There's
listened to a
bunch.
past episodes of You Me We podcast,
Yes, sir.
and you know how this works. We're gonna play some cards. Pick a card, ask a question. Here, I'll take one.
Yeah, we usually ask each other, and then we go around answering the same question. But
We're just gonna answer our own card.
yeah, we're gonna
We're just
answer
gonna
our
answer
own
our
card.
card. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. My card is, what is preventing me from becoming the person that I want to be?
Oh, that's a good one.
I know. And it's like, I was just having this conversation yesterday with Joffrey, iCraft by Joffrey.
I was gonna say plug it, plug it.
Yeah. I was having that conversation with her yesterday because I feel like I've plateaued.
Okay.
You know, when you were talking about that, I was like, yes. I feel like I plateaued with myself and like my life, but just like my life of myself, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And I feel that I am preventing myself from becoming the person that I want to be. Like just me, I'm in my own way. And like
That makes sense. Though.
Yeah, like I don't feel that there's anything, there's no outside contributing factor to that. Like I think it's just all here, and I'm not sure why.
But you don't know what it is though. Like
I don't know, and I don't know why I'm resisting so much. You know, like it's just like super weird. So I feel that I am what is preventing me from becoming the person that I want to be. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's fear wrapped up in doubt, wrapped up in feeling like I need to have it figured out before just going with the first thought that comes in my head. I don't know. So it's very annoying to be in that stage.
I also think though it's really important that you acknowledge that it's yourself though. That's a big step, and you're not like
oh, it's because the job that I have,
right?
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Yeah.
Okay. Surround you. What you got?
Okay, I have describe the moment you felt most alive. I don't know if I have one specific moment, but this is gonna sound, I don't know. I think there's been a couple moments this year that I felt the most alive, and I think that it's because I'm like, there's a whole pandemic going on outside. How am I still feeling so happy, right? Like, and so then I'm like, because I have so much going for me, and I've realized that I contribute, like it's me. I decide my happiness, right? Like because I'm not like I need to get this job first before I'm happy, and I need to do this before I'm happy, and I need to. Now that I've learned that about myself, and again, I have the opposite sad moments, but now that I've learned that about myself, I'm like, I'm so happy. I remember the world being shut down on my birthday, and I'm having such a great time in my basement. Mind you, all my plans went to crap. I had gotten a party bus.
Yes.
We were going to go to a concert.
I was like, oh, Day, you staying with the baby because I'm going to be out all weekend.
Yes. And I had all the plans. And that all went to crap, and I still was like, I had a really good birthday at my house with like 2 people.
Yeah.
And then like getting my new position, I'm like, I'm so happy, and like it just makes me feel alive to know that I can control my happiness, if that makes sense. So I don't know if that answers the question. It's not a moment. It's just I've noticed the power I have within me to just, I decide if like I don't have outside contributing. Like don't get me wrong, you get sad about things that happen, but it doesn't determine like my whole. I'll have an hour where I'm sad, whatever, but it's not going to ruin my day.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
I hope
like,
that makes sense.
One moment can like take a person's entire day.
Yeah.
Right.
Mine is, I got a good one here, and it kind of relates to our conversation from earlier. How do you feel safe? It made me think of the convo we had earlier when we talked about friends.
Right.
I think for me, I feel safe, I feel safest, safe,
That's
whatever.
a word. Safest is a word.
When I'm with those friends or family members that I feel I can be vulnerable with.
Yeah.
Because there's certain people you can be weak with, if that makes sense. There's certain people that you can be vulnerable with, certain people you can be not the strong one.
Right.
And I feel safe. And I think about my brother Donald, I think about Donald and Reggie. I think about when we're on stage, when we're stepping. I feel confident, if that's another word, confident and safe, that I could do whatever I want. Even if I was to mess up, they will have my back. Without me having to say it, show it, they will just have my back. So I feel safe. With people who I know I can be weak with. I know I can be, what's the word? The word I'm looking for. I don't have to be like perfect, or I don't have to like, get it right. I can fail in front of these people, and in those moments I feel safe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So those friends who allow me the comfort to fail or not be strong.
Shout out to having those friends.
Yeah, friends are family.
I've been blessed with those kind of friends too.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like, it's liberating to not have to put up a front. Like,
Yeah.
yo, I can hit them up and just be like, I'm having a really bad day. And it's just like, okay, I'll pray for you. Or I'll text them and be like, just pray for me. No questions asked. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very,
Awesome.
it's so liberating to just be like,
yeah.
this is me.
To be
right
surrounded by a circle of people that you're like not questioning
now. Right.
their motive. Because you're like, what the hell is the motive behind a friendship that doesn't even make sense?
Right.
I agree.
So let's end on a positive note.
Yes.
I think that a lot of positives came
I was
out
just
of
gonna say,
this
I was
episode.
positive.
Yeah, I think so too.
Vicky, anything positive you want to shout out this week?
No.
Okay. That's positive. Zoranji, anything positive you want to...
I mean, I bragged a little bit about it the other day. I got like a little certificate at work.
I did see that.
And I was so
Congratulations.
happy. Because I've only been at this new position since the beginning of September. So for me to even just receive any kind of acknowledgement so quickly on, that's very positive for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. I want to... My positive of the week... for those of you who might have followed me on social media, I've posted some work I've been doing with Lorena Del Barrio, Rena Valentin. She's brought me on board with her team, and I've gotten a chance to work with her on several events, and we have a couple events coming up. And she is a very talented creative, entertainer, host, just creative all around. So I want to shout her out and her entire team and thank them for bringing me on board. And I'm looking forward to all the future projects that we work on together. So shout out to Irina Valentin and the entire La Reina del Barrio team. And shout out to Betty for making that connection. So
That's awesome.
That's my positive of the week. Zoranji, do you want our listeners to flood your DMs by
They're gonna be like, girl, hold on.
By sharing
I heard the episode.
where they can follow you?
I mean, I honestly think if someone needs to talk to me, I'm very open to doing that.
Okay.
Like if any of this resonated with them. And my Instagram, I guess that's what we're giving out, right?
Yes. Yes, don't give out like.
No, I'm
She's
just
like,
kidding.
my
I'm
phone
just
number
kidding.
is...
Yeah.
A woman like me. Woman is spelled with a Y, so AWOMYNLIKEME. A woman like me.
Awesome. Shout out to you, and thank you all for tuning into this episode of the You, Me, We podcast. If I'm correct, this is...
I don't even want to take that.
All right.
I don't even want to.
Thank you for tuning in.